we're not going to make it to our things in time. So, at the beginning of every episode, during our introduction, we will put a message on the screen to skip to the review of the week with a timestamp.
Well, the video will be just a review. But
right. Well, anywhere we post, we will also have a timestamp in the description, in the top posted comment.
What I mean is, like, this is not going to be fully uploaded on a video. It'll just be us talking about the review.
Yeah.
So it's just the review, but if they want to listen to us bullshit more, they can go check out the full podcast on audio form.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's
so they're not even going to hear this part.
No, yeah, that's why it's like that's if they really want to hear the full thing, they can go because that's how I do. That's how I do watching the world burn, where it's like we'll do
all the talking and then
and then we have the main and then the main topics is when we have, which is why we usually have breaks, and I forgot about adding breaks on here.
Well, screw breaks. We don't do breaks. We are full throttle all the way. Let's get into Bloom Into You.
Okay, so the show was bad, and honestly,
whoa! Wait! Okay, hold on. Wait!
I'm joking.
Okay.
I am joking.
I came into this thinking that we were going to somewhat agree on this, and that was a little bit. I wasn't expecting that.
Hold on. I'm not ready.
I had to take my glasses off for a second. I was like, wait, what are you saying?
Okay, I will say this though. Like the beginning and the end of it were honestly really good. I don't remember where, but there's a point in the middle that definitely like this feels like it's dragging. You know what? And like maybe
it's not just in the middle. It's actually almost the whole show.
Oh, don't do this to me! Don't do it! You're doing it! You're doing it! We're gonna fight! Take it off the shirt!
Alright, fine. Shirts off.
No. I'm cold.
Oh, well.
I'm cold.
Whatever.
Okay, but seriously? You think almost the entire show dragged out.
So, kind of, but not unnecessarily so.
Okay.
So I think the point was that it dragged out, right? That this was a story. So I was originally led to believe that this was going to be a great, like the reason it had gone so big in the community, there was getting so much talk in the forums, I thought was because it was supposed to represent someone who was asexual and someone who was a lesbian finding their way in the chaos as like high school or whatever, right?
I will say this,
it wasn't.
It didn't feel like she was asexual.
It wasn't.
Honestly,
she wasn't.
Okay, because you kept bringing it up, and like I'm watching this, like she's liking the kissing.
This is
not
the premise. Yeah. I heard, and what made me interested in this was that this was a interesting and good take on asexuality, with a good representation of a legit ace character, and a lesbian romance, and dealing with the chaos that ensues from that type of relationship. And what I got instead wasn't actually that. It wanted to be that, I think. But
I don't know, because the way I got this was like, I don't know. I feel like there was two plots playing at the same time, and then halfway through they're like, nah, fuck it, fuck the other plot. Let's just go with this plot. Where it's just like, there's the girl that's like, she doesn't understand love, and she doesn't know, like, what it is, and she's trying to find it through this partner.
Except there was this episode, like a little past the halfway point though, where she also went, "Wait, this is normal. Like this is love." Like she had the realization moment while talking to her friend dude, like the weird perv who just likes looking at other people having romance, and she like had the realization that's like, "Oh, what I'm feeling is normal," and right there. The anime show took a turn where she realized she was in love. Because from there on, the anime acts like she's in love.
It does really seem like that, and it's like, is she
But then she keeps
love?
going with the internal like monologue where she's like, but I don't know what love is. I can't know what love is. I don't really know.
You know what? Now that I think about it, it could still be her doing that, but more of like, I don't know what love is, and I don't know what love is. More like, I can't know what love is because I promised her I wouldn't fall in love.
Yeah,
with her. And that's
okay.
That whole relationship, by the way.
Here's the thing. I think that there's a significant part of the community though that does actually see some kind of representation for a part of the community, like the asexual community or whatever. that actually sees this as a form of representation for them. And I think it's a little bit sad that this is like their version of a good representation for it. Like, I can kind of get where they're coming from, but I feel like that is a thing.
That this is
enough people on the forums I talked to thought that this was a thing, and like they had already watched way more than I had. I had only watched 3 episodes at that point, and they were. But this seems like it was an important thing to some people, and I felt like it should have been because of it. I mean, and that's unfair on my part, because that's like putting expectation on the show that the show doesn't actually promise. But it keeps wanting to. It really feels like it tries to push the fact that she doesn't actually feel romance. Yeah. Even though I think they make it pretty clear that she does. That she wants to be in a romantic relationship and she wants the romance and she's into it. I think they make it pretty clear that she actually is. But there's a whole big conversation around that with people who have feelings that that you just probably can't relate to in the same way. And
it's weird to me because
it's a conversation that's strange to have.
It's weird to me because I feel like that's one of the plots that they drop, because it turns from them like going through this to it becoming more about, oh my god, what's the main character's name? Because I know the girl who's asexual is you,
you and Taco. I'm just gonna call it Taco. Taco Tuesday.
But it's like, and then like, but then it becomes more about her sister and her
self-identity.
Yeah, and her trying to be her sister.
I mean, I actually think that was a really good way of exploring that character.
Oh no!
That was really good. That was really
no. I don't. That's why I like
bit heavy-handed, but really well.
That's why like later in the show, it's like, oh, this is actually interesting, which is why I at least appreciate the end. Again, I feel like it's still a little bit anticlimactic, but I mean...
Well, I mean, when Ace is involved, there is no climax, so...
Anyway, I'm never going to acknowledge that. But I feel like...
we established, I take it to weird sexual places.
I know
what I'm here for.
I know you do. It's so weird. Which is funny because I'm the one with the etchy blog.
Yeah, Mr. Hentai.
Okay, anyways.
Oh, we're not going to talk about that? No. Okay, some other time.
We're in the review section.
Good point, some other time.
And so, I feel like that got dropped over the, story of the asexual, exploring thing. Or at least I feel like it got
took
wrapped
a backseat.
Yeah.
It didn't get wrapped up, though, because, that's what the end was. Really sweet end, by the way.
No, it's
a bit of a shame we didn't get to see the play, though. That's what the end came back to was... It was this was actually a really good end. Spoiler alert, it ends concluding both of their arcs in the same, interaction.
I still feel like it was a little anticlimactic. Where it's this is a sweet end.
It's not about having a climax. This isn't an action movie. This is a romance.
I know.
I haven't read that much Yaoi or Yuri, right? But I feel like this is based off of a Yuri romance, right? Clearly.
Well, yeah, but that's not the thing. I thought it was just going to lead to
a
bigger heartfelt
I've read my share of romance novels, and this felt like a good, solid romance novel. But put into an anime, with all the little trappings of an anime put into, all the little exaggerated shits, the little weird characters on the side and shit that probably shouldn't have been there.
I will say this: I do kind of wish they explored more of the dude who was just no, I just like watching. I think that's.
I think he needed to not be there.
Why
he
not?
Didn't add anything.
Okay, he didn't add.
He didn't add anything, and all he did was put in that weird thing. Oh, this is actually, if they actually were exploring asexuality as a topic, then he does add something. He is there, has a message, and has a few scenes that are important. Well, that's only if they actually mean to be taking a look at this through an ace lens. The problem is, I don't think they are really. I think it's intellectually dishonest to claim that they are, even if it emotionally connects and seems to represent it.
But again, there are people in the, like you said, there are people.
Yeah, there are people that will always make personal connections to it, and that have their own opinions that are equally or even more so valid than my own on this. And there's also nothing wrong with connecting and seeing yourself represented in one of these characters in any way.
Yeah. I will also say this.
I just don't think it's actually a representation of like asexuality. That's actually a representation of just the chaos of being a teenager who doesn't actually know what love is. Someone who's never experienced it and who can't recognize it when they do because it's not what they were taught it is meant to feel like by society.
Yeah.
She doesn't feel the
fireworks.
She doesn't feel the fireworks. She doesn't feel her feet levitating off the ground. But in real life, it's often not like that. At least not at first. It takes a lot of work to get to that stage for a lot of people. And that's not really an ace issue. That's just a issue. That's just a common issue.
Yeah. I will say this. Watching this explains why I didn't like Citrus. And I know you say it's not fair to compare it to them.
It's not fair to compare it
I
to
know
Citrus.
you say that, but like...
Citrus is like an incest, rape, lolly, hentai thing.
They don't actually physically... I think they actually...
Oh, I'm sorry. The implications of that's what the goal of the thing is.
No, not that.
It's so much better than it actually being.
Hold on. First of all, I think there's actually more sexual actions in Bloom than Citrus. First of all.
Hey. But there are more non-consensual actions in Citrus than in this.
Fair enough.
In this, even in the scenes where there is not worded consent or necessarily implied consent either. Why necessarily? There is not implied consent either. Even in those, it's not about a non-consensual relationship in any way. It's about a consensual and confused relationship. Citrus is actually like borders on non-consensual a lot.
You say that, but in Bloom, it was just like, it's not right for us to love each other. Okay, but I'm still gonna love you anyways because
it's not right for us to love each other. I don't feel right initiating because I still don't feel. I don't think I feel the same way about you that you do me.
You're gonna. Is it? Tell me if I'm wrong.
Her argument was legit.
No, not that. Not
it's
that.
Okay if you do it to me because I'm into this.
Hold on.
I'm not into
that.
You.
Not that. But do you not think it's wrong if someone like doesn't feel that way? Actually no.
Because
they explain it. Never mind.
She says in that conversation, she's not saying she's not into it. She actually is. She does say no, it's okay. Like in the scenes prior, in episodes prior.
No. That's not even what I was going on about. That's not even what I was going on about. I was gonna go on about it. It's like, do you think it's really healthy for her to do this when she should not be doing it? But
that gets into like a really subjective area. In this case, I think the relationship was a little bit toxic, but because it wasn't being handled right on either side, and because they were both using each other in their relationship as opposed to actually having a relationship, I don't think it's toxic that they had a relationship in the first place, and I don't think that their actions in the relationship were toxic. For the most part, those are actually all very good examples of how to like conduct yourself. Be a little bit different with like the first makeouts, that couple kisses or whatever, where like they were not initiated and also not reciprocated. But that's also, it's kids learning shit, so it happens.
Fair enough. But I will. Okay,
but it's also like everything they did was consensual and healthy in their explorations. Everything they did was healthily explored, not unhealthily explored. They didn't immediately jump to fucking. They were always worried and concerned about the other person. You saw this on both sides. They were both nervous about overstepping boundaries or even stepping on boundaries in the first place. Like, this was a conflict in both of their heads out this thing.
Okay, fine. But at least in the context of comparing it to Citrus, it's more. I figured out that it isn't a character issue or anything like that. It is more of a plot issue of why I liked Bloom more than Citrus. At least we'll say that. And in the sense of Citrus, talks about more issues, not more issues, but like has more story stuff. but they do a very, very surface level of interpretation of it. That's like they don't delve into the actual like emotional or psychological aspects of it. While this one, while it has one story arc, it
has two.
Well, two playing at the same time, but like you know what I mean.
No,
like,
it is like two fairly separate ones. Like I think the whole like play thing is its own story arc. Like
they bring it up
set up prior, but that doesn't mean it's explored prior. Like her acting a certain way or being the certain president, I feel like what didn't necessarily have to have anything to do with the second half. Like the first half and the second half, or the first arc and the second arc, are not necessarily related. They happen to be related, and that could have just been like good writing, like it was never originally intended. But then they're like, well, we need to explore this character anyways. What would be an interesting way to take this? We can do this, and it makes past actions look more important. Like it's an example of just good writing either way, but not necessarily one of planning or necessity.
I guess
the sister exploration is not necessary for the other plot.
Okay, no. I know that, but like there's like somewhere it's like it involves like a best friend, and then it involves like another.
Why does that one girl's hair color change like halfway through?
I don't
like the vice president.
The one in Bloom.
Yeah,
does it change?
In Bloom. Yeah, I swear the one in Bloom. Like it goes the vice president goes from having orange hair that looks similar in color to the main character to being like this like pale light brown at the end, like in the last like arc.
Wait, light brown? What the fuck are you talking about?
Like this gray brown. I swear. Maybe the colors were off on my monitor or something.
Maybe I don't.
I saw orange hair turn into like gray brown hair.
Wait, are you talking about the
vice president?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the president.
The vice president.
Oh, I thought you were okay.
Like I swear at the beginning she had orange hair, just like you. Well, not just like you. It was like a different shade than you, but it was orange hair, and then at the end it was definitely gray.
No, it was still orange.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure. I remember watching it. It was still orange.
Are you sure?
I watched it more recently than you. If I'm wrong,
no, you didn't.
When's the last time?
I completed it today.
You told me you finished it.
Yeah.
You fucking liar.
I lied.
You son of a bitch.
I was busy finishing other series.
Fuck you. Go fuck yourself.
I finished it about 1 o'clock today.
Oh my god, you bastard. You stupid bastard.
But like, yeah.
I'm pretty sure her hair was orange. We'll figure this out later. But like, the reason why I like this one more than Citrus is because of that like more in-depth plot, which it upsets me more and it makes me want to rate Citrus even lower now because it's just like, God, like your plot.
Citrus is there for a very different audience in this show.
Oh no, I get that completely, but still, like, Jesus, that their plots are so surface level. I didn't even notice. Are you still looking it up? I'm pretty sure it's orange.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not looking anything up.
What are you doing?
I'm not looking anything up.
What are you doing?
No, just continue the conversation.
No, you're not going on Verb. You're not checking it right now. Stop. Right, we'll do it later.
All right. We'll do it later. We'll do it later.
Jesus. Is there anything else to say about this?
I don't know. Not really. That's kind of most of what I had to say. It was solid overall. I really liked the last arc. I think it ends stronger than it begins. I think it has a very strong first episode.
Oh, definitely.
That was a good hook for something that didn't get too much exploration.
I will say this, on Tuesday, on my like midday off, I was like, I had Tuesday and Wednesday off, and I watched it. I was like, okay, I'll only watch like the first like episode, maybe the second one, and then I won't. And then the first episode happened. I was like, I gotta finish this now. It was like 10 o'clock, and I was like, I gotta finish this. And I stayed up till like 2 before I passed out. I was like,
damn, boy.
I gotta finish this. And it's like, this is such a good start. Oh my god. I'll say this. If an anime is able to hook you in the first show, in the first episode, that at least deserves like
I will say this show had... Yeah, no, dude. That's totally not the same orange at the beginning.
To be fair, you're taking that picture from the sunset. Didn't I say not to do this right now?
Legit though, it's like that color the entire time. But this show did have something I really appreciated.
What?
An actual, honest to God, good, healthy, solid example of a normal as fuck, healthy gay romance. The teacher and the coffee bar owner.
I was like, what the fuck are you?
The coffee bar owner and the teacher.
You know what? Yeah.
They had legit just a normal, healthy.
Honestly, I like
living with each other, late stages of dating.
Honestly, yeah, I really liked that.
Like
that was
romance life. Like, that was a really cool, just little C plot in the background that was just really good.
Yeah, that was a little nice touch. I remember seeing
one bi woman and one gay woman just doing their life in the background.
Yeah, I remember watching that and just being like, oh yeah, that's like they're a couple. That's just
they
really
were
nice.
Actually, my favorite characters in this show.
Honestly, I think
no joke, they were my favorite characters.
Honestly, I think it was nice to also have that conversation where just like, hey, do you like boys or guys more? It's like I think I like guys, but like, I mean, it's if I like you, that's more special.
I've just been attracted to more guys, but my relation with you is special.
So I was like, oh, that's
and like
cute.
it wasn't like pulled off like a corny or anything. Like it was like super honest, straight up. That was great.
That was
their entire little plot was great.
That was nice.
It's a little bit sad they had to hide their lesbian romance, but Coffee Girl also revealed it though, so whatever.
That's true.
Although only to someone she suspected was gay.
Yeah, it's like, you know what, I would question that, but there's times I know people have just been like...
No, she didn't reveal it in a weird way. She revealed it in a supportive way, but like...
No, I didn't mean it like that, but like there are people that's just like, in real life, that's like, hey, I could tell. And it's just like, I was like, it's like, wait.
Yeah, but it wasn't
people
like
do that. In real
life.
Like,
this girl was trouble and she was asking questions. She just got the
No, I know. But I mean, like, again, people have deduced more from very little. Yeah. Which is why it's like, okay, fine, this is actually believable. But yeah, I thought that was nice. Honestly...
another thing I really liked... This is such a strange detail to have really liked about the show, but I, honest to God, gave it a full extra star because of this. How eyes were animated.
What the fuck?
I
went on this whole rant. You went on this whole rant earlier about like, the fucking eyes are so weird in anime, and you're just like,
hey, listen, I've grown to really appreciate anime art styles by this point.
To me, what the fuck? There was like no difference with the eyes.
Okay,
I couldn't tell
wrong.
Anything.
No, you were legit wrong.
Hold on, time out. In certain moments, I could tell there was more emphasis in the eyes.
No, it wasn't about moments. This was about general use of eyes.
Give me a minute. Okay? There were certain moments, I will admit, that in certain scenes, like the eyes, there's way more emphasis in the eyes. And I appreciate that from the anime.
I'm not talking about the scenes of action.
Let me explain, though! Let me explain my reasoning, okay? Motherfucker! There was more emphasis in certain scenes. And I like that. I like when certain emotions can be told only through eyes. It's a really intimate thing. But what the fuck's your reasoning if that's not the case?
I'm not talking about those. Yeah, those are good, but those are good in most anime, even ones where they don't pay attention to eye animation.
There's not. Okay, no.
Legit, in most anime that have scenes that focus on anime characters' eyes, whether or not it's because the eyes are directed well, or because the scene is directed well with the music in the background or whatever. Usually, anime gets that
no, Chief. I'm gonna give you that big no. There's a lot of animes that fuck up on that.
Yeah, there are a lot of anime that fuck up on eyes, even during special moments.
For me, this is a very rare occasion.
Most anime that know to use eyes also use them moderately appropriately, even kind of well.
Not like this show did.
I'm just saying for like individual scenes where like they do close-ups on eyes.
Okay, usually they're not trying to tell emotion or like something.
Usually they are. That's the only point of focusing on eyes.
Okay, fine, but this one like had strong ass like this.
It did, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about like in general interactions between characters. There's this thing in anime where like characters have eyes that don't move. They don't look at other things. They stay stagnant. They stay still. Some of them have like dead fish eye where they like are really still the entire conversation. Whatever. This anime, it had all these little moments where people would change their eyes or how like what mood their face was showing by just little bit changes to their eyes and like the skin around the eyes. And just the way the eyes were animated when they moved was very, like... I would describe it
Natural is
not necessarily natural. It's more like the feeling you get when you're looking at like every other anime is like a 30 frames per second game, and this anime's eyes had 60 to like 120 frames per second. Like it was that feeling. Like I'm not saying like literally this one had like smoother animation because they did more frames. No, I'm just saying like the feeling you get when you go from watching something at 30 frames to watching something like 120 frames was how I felt about eye animation this compared to other anime. Other anime have like serviceable eyes, right? Where they will occasionally move or do what they need to do to be eyes. Go figure. But this anime did little things, little movements, little moments that just made the eyes feel better to look at and better to watch. It's not necessarily a very specific way of directing the eyes or animating the eyes that was different. It was like the whole little thing that they did with them. It just gave the feeling of it being better to look at.
That's a weird fucking detail.
Listen, I know it is. That's why I said this is a weirdly specific detail.
It's like impressive that you caught that, but it's just like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just numb to anime. Maybe I'm just used to the anime bullshit.
I think if I were to point this out to you in like a scene, you might see this.
Probably. You know what the problem is?
There are a lot too. There's like a scene every episode at least.
You know what the problem is? I think it's...
A lot of it was like angles too, though. Like angles at faces. Like eyes weren't just like always the big eyes. Like they were like eyes when you look at them sideways. I don't know. There were things with eyes in this that were just good.
The sideways thing, I can at least acknowledge.
Yeah. No, I've noticed eyes that were done better in this than they are done in most anime.
I don't want to say that this is the problem, but like I know there's a lot of little things that anime do, but I think it's just I've fallen into this like Pavlovian response of just when like just to assume that all anime do the same thing. With like, oh yeah, that is it. Because that's honestly that's what a lot of anime conditions a lot of fans to do. You can't. I will
always argue that every fan should always be critical at all moments.
Oh no, I'm not saying
always look at everything.
I'm not
with fresh
saying
eyes.
I'm not saying you do. I appreciate the fact you can point that out, but again, you can't deny that there are a lot of anime that reinforce that Pavlovian response.
I don't think they consciously reinforce it.
I think
anime fans who overconsume anime without critically thinking about them, and specifically people who've like never had an issue with the artwork and also don't have a real appreciation for it. Did you say Digibro?
No, I didn't. I'm joking.
As much as I disagree with Digibro on most things,
I'm joking.
I have to admit he like retains a critical eye, whether or not it's a good critical eye.
I'm joking. But kind of, sort of. Okay, shit.
Digibro, by the way, if you ever see these, we'd love to talk to you. I'd love to talk to you. We don't. I would love to talk to you.
We don't hate
Contact Paragon. I'll put my email in the description below.
We don't hate you. We just hate how you explain things.
Listen.
It might be more for Paragon, but...
Listen, I would like to talk to you because you have some very explosive ideas, and you keep issuing this challenge in all of your videos that say, argue with me, so I want to argue with you, okay?
Ooh, shit.
Okay.
All right, but getting back...
Fight me.
I want it. Honestly...
Digibro, fight me. Honestly, SAO is legitimately a okay show.
Honestly, I'd love to see that fight. But getting back on topic. What was the topic? Fuck. The eye thing. Oh, yeah. Dude, there's a lot of... The anime just... I don't think it's on purpose.
No, I think people just get lazy. I think people don't care.
I think it's also that.
I think
it's that, but I think
a
it's
lot
also...
of people just don't watch anime and think about how the art style is different.
No, I get
and maybe
that.
Coming from a unique background where I used to hate the art style and had to like condition myself into enjoying it and appreciating it. Like I have retained more focus on it. Like this is part of the reason why I can't stand doing stuff. If there is a dub, if there is a appropriate dub, like I'm not talking about like a garbage dub, but if there is a dub sub that is in any way comparable in quality to the subs for a show, I will watch the dub instead of the sub. Because I like being able to actually look at and appreciate every bit of every frame.
You're just hitting all the hot button topics of anime.
You know I am. That's what I do. I've got the hot takes on the anime shakes.
Fuck, what was I going to say? Okay, you say that, but like, you're more inclined into seeing little details than I am. But at least for me, I think it may be more because I've done more.
You've had the operant conditioning.
No, I wasn't going through that.
Makes you
but
blind
maybe
to
it's
the
more.
goodness.
No, not that. But maybe it's because more that I've been like, because of the years I've been vlogging stuff, I can notice it a little bit more. For example, the Promised Land, their fucking mouths bother the fuck out of me.
Still, I've only seen the first episode.
Why? You need to watch that shit.
Partly because there were other shows to watch, and it wasn't all the way out, and I like to binge my shows.
You need to watch that show. That's a good show. But it's like that, where it's like people won't notice that. But it's like, for me, it's like their mouths are like lower than like the normal part that they are, and that fucking annoys me every time I watch it. But most people probably wouldn't notice that. Or maybe they will, because I can admit that's probably a big thing.
Admittedly, whether or not they consciously notice it, they almost always do notice it. Like, they'll probably just have a thing where they're like, I don't like the animation. Why? I just don't like it. And they won't know why, but it'll be because of the faces.
No, I get that, but it's like...
That being said, I might disagree with you on this. I don't remember having a problem with the faces in the anime.
We will watch it. The fucking mouths are
Although, to be fair, I seem to have overcorrected in my attempts to like condition myself into appreciating an art form I used to hate. I seem to have over-conditioned myself to the point where I find things to appreciate in things that are objectively, and I recognize the objective garbageness of it. An example of this is Knights of Sidonia is one of my favorite anime ever.
Are you gonna finally admit it? I'm gonna have this.
I have to admit, in the non-action scenes where they increase the frame rate, in every other scene, especially in season 1,
do it.
The frame rate is so garbage.
Thank you.
That I can't blame people for hating it. But I still think you should push yourself through it, because
you should
behind that shitty frame rate is some legitimately good frame rate in the action sequences, in the space sequences, and some of the best mecha on alien shit ever, and maybe the best like conclusion to like a season ever, like in anything, like just some of the best shit. And if you're like me, if you're OCD and like a math nerd, if you used to be a math nerd, if you like geometry, if you like basic sci-fi, if you read sci-fi novels back in the day, if you used to be that little nerd reading Tolkien at the back of the classroom, or reading some like obscure sci-fi novels, if you were reading David Brin back there or Isaac Asimov while other people were still reading Harry Potter and shit, you will like this. You will like this anime, because this anime does so many little things to just if you have like a mixture of OCD and like the intrinsic knowledge of like just basic math and geometry, they do all these little things every few moments in the series. We're like every display they have is arranged in a certain way, and every model that they use is in a certain way, and the ways they represent three-dimensional space on a two-dimensional plane.
We're not even talking about the anime. I let you go on for so goddamn long.
Like Knights of Sidonia, really scratches the itch of my little chess-playing math nerd.
I don't ever usually do this. I'm gonna cut you off because we have now diverged. We're like, you know how like we were on the deck, like just like sailing our boat around talking about Bloom, and you somehow started the motor, broke the off switch, and just sat there and let the ship go. And I finally
let the ship go into space to join the Sidonia.
And I finally fixed it, and now we're just in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. We're in no man's land where the wind can't get us, and it's just like.
Hey, we don't need the wind. I'm going to roll out the manual crank on the solar sail. We're going to recharge our battery, and then we're going to get rescued by the boy. Oh my God, Sidonia's the best.
So we obviously have no more to talk about Bloom. So how about we get our ratings out, and we like make our final statements.
Shit. What is my rating for Bloom? That's a good question. You go first on this one.
All right, so I was really debating on where I would put it. At the end of the day, I just met in the middle and I gave it an 8.5. I think it's good, but it has a few flaws, obviously, that hold it back. Again, I thought the middle dragged a little bit more, but the messaging was nice. The relationships, both for the main characters and other characters, were nice. They played a lot of stuff well. So at the end of the day, 8.5. I'd personally give it. I can understand
that's like just above the community rating on Mal. That's an 8.02 right now. I kind of agree with you. It's pretty dang good. It starts pretty strong. It flounders a little bit in the middle. It's a little bit slow isn't the right word because I actually like slow pacing, but it doesn't quite. It keeps repeating explorations as opposed to further explorations. It kind of is middle of the range in terms of an actual plot and conclusion. But it ends pretty damn strong with a good, not cliffhanger. Like, you don't get a conclusion to the, literal story that was happening. You don't get to see the play or anything, but you get to see the conclusion that mattered of the emotional journey. It was very well done, pretty well animated, solid, 6.5. You know what? I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
Really?
Yeah, 7 out of 10.
Okay, I mean that doesn't sound like a 7.
That's up from my initial score, which was a 6.
Wow, you gave that a 6?
I was a bit mean to it. I don't know.
What the damn? Initially, I don't think it. Damn, I wouldn't say it deserves a 7. That's this show as
7 is. So I go by the MAL system rating, the My Anime List system rating. 10 is a masterpiece. 9 is great. 8 is very good. 7 is good. 6 is fine. 5 is average. 4 is bad. 3 is very bad. 2 is horrible. And 1 is appalling and should be erased and eradicated, exterminated from the face of the earth.
I'm pretty sure that's not what Mal said, but I would like if they changed that.
It does say appalling.
Does it actually say appalling?
It does say appalling. 1 is an appalling.
Oh, it is appalling. Holy shit.
Yep. I literally read out them word for word.
Okay.
Until I added words.
Until you got to 1.
But 1 is appalling.
1 is appalling. Okay. But I would say it's very good. I would say
it's good. In order to hit very good for me, they would have had to. This is a personal thing, but they should have properly explored, because I feel like they were trying to explore asexuality. They should have actually gone all the way and explored actual asexuality, the inability to feel romance, instead of the form of asexuality they did explore, which admittedly is a form of socially recognized asexuality, but in terms of asexuality, whenever it's brought up and represented in media or in anything right now, I'm not as interested in the social term of asexuality, which a lot of people can define themselves as and represent themselves as. I'm more interested in the clinical definition of asexuality, which is treated very differently. It is a very different problem, and it's a set of people that don't have any actual figures to really stand behind it that represent them in media, and that saddens me a bit. There are lots of characters in media that someone who thinks of themselves as asexual, who doesn't want to get into a romantic relationship, or hasn't quite felt that feeling, or doesn't know that other feeling. People like you in this series. You the character, not you as in you.
No, I realized that. I was just like,
But people like the character you in this series, who may think of themselves as asexual, have lots of characters in other forms of media and in this form of media that they can find representation in. And I'm still waiting for that form of representation, for that person that really can't feel sexuality, who is suffering from clinical asexuality. Because as someone who knows 2 people with clinical asexuality, it's an important thing to me personally. And whenever it gets brought up and becomes a major theme, or is attempting to become a major theme, when asexuality is a major theme, that's what I'm looking for, and this didn't deliver for me. So I bring it from a very good... They could make it very good if they had simply actually explored clinical asexuality as opposed to social asexuality.
But you said that there's like part of the community that at least represents with it, doesn't it?
Yeah, the social part. Yeah, these are people who socially represent themselves as asexual. Which is legitimate. I do not mean to illegitimize anyone out there. If you identify yourself as asexual, whether or not you can feel sexual impulses, is fine. If you don't want to be in a relationship, if you don't want relations, if you've experienced past trauma that makes you unable to feel romance in the same ways anymore or be sexually aroused, these are all very important issues, topics, and it's important for you to find representation that you feel represents you. But I also don't like the mixing of terms between the multiple forms of clinical asexuality and the chemical imbalances that make some people physically unable to connect to other people romantically and sexually wasn't represented in this. So
fair enough.
Yeah,
I'll accept that.
An actual exploration that could have made this very good, even if they just explored it and didn't really know what they were doing. Because it's very hard to write for that audience, to write for those people, because 99.9% of people will never have experienced actual asexuality, or I should say clinical asexuality. They'll have experienced like a social or psychological asexuality, which is, I mean, I also partly just want a distinguishing term between the two.
Okay, fair enough.
Because to me, they're separate issues, and I'm looking for one of those specifically, and it wasn't the one they chose to explore.
Okay, fair enough. Since we're wrapping up here, is there anything that you want to plug? Any little thing that you want to...
No, I'm going to start streaming video games soon.
Oh,
but
shit.
I don't have a channel name for that yet because I'm doing that probably on YouTube and Twitch. But I have to make new channels.
What about the name we came up with before?
Hexanite?
No, not Hexanite. Any Mouse.
Any what?
Any Mouse.
Was that a serious thing?
We talked about it.
Oh, Animouse. Oh, Anonymous Animouse.
Dude, that's been in the back of my head. I mean, you could also go as Paragon if you wanted to.
I'll go as I'll go by the name Paragon. If I was gonna do an Animouse, I'd want that to be like an anime channel, like straight up an anime channel.
Okay, fair enough.
Not a gaming channel.
Yeah.
For gaming channel, I'm just gonna go as Paragon for now. Okay. Oh shit, that's tied to my personal shit though. I don't know. Anyway, don't look for me yet. Don't bother. I'm not out there. I don't have anything actually out there. I'm not actually streaming right now. I'm just talking big game right now. I don't even have my equipment anymore. I used to stream a little bit. Looking to do it again. But I have nothing I actually want to tag. You know what I want to tag? For all you in the anime community, I want all of you to go out. I want you to see Alita Battle Angel while it's still in theaters.
Oh, shit. I still haven't watched that.
Hollywood needs to see that there are people who want this shit. And if you are a young lady out there, if you are a young woman, if you identify as a woman, I actually highly recommend this for you. Because the target audience for this isn't something that a lot of people have covered. But one of my favorite YouTube movie reviewers, coverers, I don't know, he kind of just does like the pictures. Yeah, Movie Bob. Brought this up, and I 100% agreed with him. Coming out of the theater, I had this in my mind. I 100% agree that the target audience of this was actually like teen girls. It was like young adult women. The way the romance was portrayed, the way the main character was portrayed, was all focused around a very like young adult woman perspective, specifically in terms of like young adult romance novels and things. And I have a feeling that the producer, probably originally intended this for his daughter or something, because it seems to come through pretty strongly. I highly recommend you take, if you have a daughter, take her to see it. It's about a badass robot chick, Alita Battle Angel. Go see it while it's still in theaters. Maybe Hollywood will make some more anime movies for us.
Yeah, I don't trust Hollywood anymore to do that, but I want to watch Alita Battle Angel. You guys know me. Follow me at wherever you can find Mize Kurosaki. I can't plug that because I don't want you to know my name.
Oh, it's too late. Gotta plug it.
Nah, that's fine.
I'll ask Stuart. Stuart will tell me.
You don't fucking, you're just gonna insult me like you always do.
I won't. I promise I won't insult you for the first 24 hours.
No, it's fine. If you're gonna insult me, you can get it out of the way, and then we'll...
Alright, let's get out of the way while it's still recording so people can hate me for it. Come on.
Alright, you can follow me, all my other stuff on Mize Kurosaki. If you wanted to follow my Instagram anime account, you could follow me at, wow, I forgot my own name. Oh, yeah, Mizeku. Yeah, what are you going to say? Oh, what a stupid name. Oh, boo, boo, boo. Oh, it's dumb.
Did you say Mizeku?
Yeah.
Spelled?
Huh?
How do you spell it?
Like K-U-N. Like the
Mize-kun.
Yeah. Oh, kun, yeah.
It's a bit lazy.
Lazy, but, you know.
If you're going by Mize Kurosaki everywhere else, it works.
Yeah. There's just a dead silence.
I mean, I was expecting Mr. Hentai, okay?
No, you thought I didn't.
So he wanted to name himself Mr. Hentai for a while. You almost got that plugged tonight. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and germs of all sizes and shapes. Thank you, all the people in the ACE community that may or may not be viewing this because you are not viewing this. No one is viewing this. Merry Christmas.
Hey, you don't know that. You don't know that. We have a potential of reaching 6,000 people. 6,500 people.
Statistically, still not likely to reach out to an ACE individual.
Okay, what is exactly ACE before we leave?
Asexual. ACE just stands for asexual. ACE is the nickname for asexual.
I didn't know that. I actually didn't. To be fair, I don't know that many.
The ACE community is decently active. Yeah, decently active friends.
Okay, well, you learn something new every day. Thank you all for watching.
Thank you for listening if you're listening. Thank you.
Thank you.